Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. The dinim of Muktzah and Shabbos are very complex and very detailed, and there's a lot to learn. So we'll discuss maybe one detail of Hilchas Muktzah. You know that children like to play in the sandbox. And sometimes if you are Shabbos in the resort area, or you're by a lake, or by a beach, or whatever, you're walking alongside the beach, and maybe the kids want to play with sand. So let's strictly zero in on one issue. Is sand muktzah? Why should sand be muktzah? Because one of the general principles of muktzah is anything which is not designated to be able to be used for something that you could do with something proper on Shabbos is muktzah. Is set aside from your mind, and you cannot touch it. You cannot move it on Shabbos. So because sand is earth, soil is something that really you can't, to work on it, it's not something you could use for Shabbos. It should be muktzah. So let's discuss this based on what the Alter Rebbe says in Shulchan Aruch. The Alter Rebbe in Siman Shin Ches, Seif Ayin Zayin. He says, Machnis Adam, a person is allowed to bring in a bucket full of afar, a bucket full of soil, earth, from outside, bring it in his house Friday, Uma'ara oisei bebeisei, and pours it out in his house, wherever he wants, la'aretz, Umutar lasis by kol tzrachav b'Shabbos. And then, because you brought it into your house, and you're using it for something that you need, that it could be used for Shabbos, since you're designating it, you're saying, I have a purpose that it may be able to be used for, so then it comes out, it's taken away from all other sand. All other sand is prohibited. What sand is made for building, whatever else that you can't do on Shabbos. But if you took some sand and put it here and say, this is sand that I could use, you're allowed to. What could you do for sand, on sand and Shabbos? You know that somebody might be dirt on the floor on Shabbos, and you want to have the sand to be able to cover it. Roik is saliva, it's soya, or schmutz. This is only if you designate a place where this sand is the sand designated that I should be able to use. Then nikar hadavar shehu muchan va'omer lekach. Because when you set aside an area for it, it looks like you set it aside for a purpose. And then if you have a purpose, that's not muktzah. You said, and this is something I had in mind to use. If you just pour earth or sand or anything like that for people to walk on, then that sand that's around is batel to the ground. Because earth in the ground you're not meant to use, you don't use for anything, it becomes muktzah v'asr l'taltalei. Lefichach, therefore, if there's fruit that you stored in sand, you're allowed to take it out. She'ein oisei ha'afar muktzah, because it was designated in advance. So in Shmira Shabbos Kilchasa, Perek Tezayin, Seif Dalid, he says, if you see children now based on this halacha from the big Shulchan Aruch, from the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, from the Mishnah Berurah, he says that if you see children playing in sand, there are two levels of sand. There is the sand as it is loose, and there is sand that's muddy. To pour water on sand and make it from a loose sand to like mud, that you're running into another issue of lisha. It's a borderline kneading, which is prohibited. So if we're talking about loose sand, if it's loose sand and children are playing in it, if it's a sandbox, that's what it was designated for. So a sandbox is like it was designated from before Shabbos to be able to use. But if it wasn't designated, if it's just like sand on the beach, you're not allowed to carry it because it's muktzah. It wasn't designated to play with.